Happy National Cinema Day, everybody, and in honor of National Cinema Day, I thought I would go over 4 films that were incredibly influential in my life in my teenage years that really started to burn the passion inside of me for film and really make movies become my favorite hobby of all time. Starting off with Good Will Hunting, written by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, which they won the Oscar for, directed by Gus Van Sant. This came out the year I was born, and the monologues from Robin Williams, the back and forth between him and Matt Damon, the brotherly friendship dynamic between Casey Affleck, Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon. So much quotable moments in this movie. This movie was so inspirational to me. I absolutely love it. It's one of those that on paper, it's like, oh, a janitor is a genius and can solve all these problems and becomes one like of the best engineers of all time. Sounds like something so silly, but it's so effortless and brilliant in this movie. Easily one of the most influential in my life. 12 Angry Men is a movie that at this point I've seen a lot in my life, and the first time I was ever introduced to it was watching it in grade school, where they showed this movie during class after we read the play it was based on, and Sidney Lumet directed a masterpiece here. The blocking that's used here, there's so much you can study, all the performances. This all takes place mostly in one location. I know at the end they leave the courthouse, but 99% of this movie is in one single location, but still with the camera angles, the shots, just look at like the power balances here, the tension they were able to build through all these incredible performances. 12 Angry Men is one of the biggest and best screenplays of all time. For a reason, it's a masterpiece. Still, my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie of all time is Reservoir Dogs, although Django Unchained is kind of sneaking up there. But this is like one of the first ones I remember ever watching, and I fell in love with it right away. Just from the very opening scene where they're all at that restaurant talking about should you tip, should you not, I was completely captivated. And then, of course, you go on this crime thrill ride of deception, double-crossing, not knowing what happens, non-linear storytelling, confusion. Reservoir Dogs blew me away the first time I saw it, blows me away every time I continue to watch it. One of the most influential that really inspired the love for me for cinema. And lastly, The Social Network, directed by David Fincher. I mean, what else needs to be said? I talked about 12 Angry Men as one of the greatest screenplays of all time. The Social Network is right in there, hanging in the rafters, is one of the greatest screenplays of all time as well. It's my favorite Fincher by a good margin. Everyone talks about Andrew Garfield and how incredible he is as Eduardo Saverin, and for good reason. But Jesse Eisenberg, I get everyone hated on for like the Lex Luthor performances, but Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg is one of the best castings of all time, one of the best performances of all time. The score in this is haunting and chilling. The editing and the cinematography is making you feel like it's a fast-paced thriller, even though it's a corporate biopic. The courtroom scenes are so influential that we've seen so many biopics copies from now until then. The Winklevoss brothers, like everything about this movie is so peak. Absolutely love it. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, and it was absolutely incredibly influential when I first saw it to making me really fall in love with cinema. Let me know down below, in celebration of National Cinema Day, what is the most influential movie of all time for you that really helped you fall in love with movies? Because imagine if you're here watching this video, you're a huge cinephile. So let me know, what is that movie for you that did the magic that these 4 movies did for me?